Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Buckeye Weekly Podcast, an emergency edition. I am Tony Gerdeman here, as always, with Tom Orr. Tom, how's it going?
Tony, I've forgotten my own name. I've forgotten your name. We are a little cattywampus right now. We were all about letting you see behind the curtain. We were recording a different show. You'll hear it tomorrow about things we're looking for. Storylines we're looking forward to with the Ohio State fall camp. And as soon as we hit stop on that, some news crossed that was like, oh, well, now this is an interesting story for Ohio State fall camp. So when you hear the show tomorrow, you'll be like, oh, that's weird that they wouldn't talk about maybe the most crazy, intriguing story in the history of Ohio State football. Weird. How did they forget that? Like, well, I can explain time travel to you, but it's probably not worth it. We should talk instead about Quinn Ewers, Tony.
Let us talk about Quinn Ewers. Pete Thamel posted a story with quotes from the Ewers family that Quinn Ewers is looking to enroll at Ohio State this August. And he has like one core English class that he has to take or finish. And it sounds like that's going to happen. And Ewers himself says he doesn't know which way he's going to go, but he's leaning towards coming up to Ohio and just getting accustomed to life as a Buckeye and getting to know the offense. And it sure seems like this is going to happen. And the parents apparently are all in on it. And while we were recording a previous show and this came in, and my eyes got big because I saw it first, and then I started talking, and you checked your text, and your eyes got big, and now we are talking about it. Quinn Ewers, probably likely, and maybe by the time you hear this in like 20 minutes or 30 minutes from the time we get it uploaded, he might have already definitively said he's coming to Ohio State. But it sure looks like Ohio State is going to break camp on Tuesday with, let me get this straight, CJ Stroud, Jack Miller, Kyle McCord, Quinn Ewers, all whom will technically be true freshmen eligibility wise. What the heck?
Is this the greatest recruiting class in the history of college football? And the answer, yes, yes. You don't often see four top 100 kind of quarterbacks in the same class. Three 5-star quarterbacks in the same class. Like that's, I would say there's some indication Ryan Day has some idea what he's doing. I don't know, but yeah, that's real interesting to me. And there's a whole bunch of, we'll have time to get into the longer term implications of this, and does this change what they're able to do in terms of 2023 quarterback? Did they have to bring in another 2022 quarterback? I mean, there's all sorts of conversation to have there, but I mean, the short term version is holy smokes, like holy smokes. Now, I mean, let's be reasonable right now. This is someone who is coming off, has not set foot on a college practice field yet in terms of, taking a single snap from a college center or throwing to a single college wide receiver. I mean, this is not someone who's going to win the starting job for Minnesota. So just go ahead and put that out of your mind. Even if he's just here this year to capitalize on NIL, start college, start learning the playbook, and give himself a chance to maybe be in a better spot to win the starting job in 2022, or not have Kyle McCord have a year of experience on him when it's time to try and win the starting job in 2023. Whatever. Like this is a I guess we can't say it was a completely shocking story because Kirk Barton, we have to give Kirk Barton a shout out on our Ask the Insiders board like a month ago, just kind of floated this idea. And I have not been able to go back and find the exact post, but it was just basically like, someone takes snaps on on this year's Ohio State team as a quarterback who's not on the roster yet. And it's like, what? What do you mean? They're not going to bring it in a transfer. And someone, floated Ewers as a possibility when that was being discussed. And it was kind of like, yeah, I mean, maybe, but yeah, that this is, I'm not completely gobsmacked by this just based on the fact that Kirk sort of floated that. And it was kind of like, this is what Kirk was talking about. But also, holy smokes, like, right. I mean, we're less than a week from the start of fall camp, and all of a sudden, like, oh yes, Quinn Ewers might also be here for the first day of fall camp. Tony, I think there might be some interest around the Ohio State football program this August. What do you think?
I think so. You get the hotel check-in coming up. Everybody's going to be excited about that. This to me is, boy, it's like you said. I had prepared myself for the possibility a while ago, but then I had stopped. Like, okay, it doesn't look like this is going to happen. But then you actually have to, okay, now what does this mean? And so I haven't like put any thought into what does this mean for Kyle McCord? What does this mean for Jack Miller or CJ Stroud? What does this mean for 2023? Now, why he's doing it is he didn't want to deal with, or doesn't necessarily want to deal with the Texas Interscholastic League and the NIL holding him back. And so, there's all kind of there's talk about a lot of money that he would be leaving on the table in NIL stuff should he stay in high school. So one of the good things in reading this, it sure seems like while he will, if he does enroll, he knows he's probably not going to start this season at quarterback for Ohio State, nor should he. He's going to be a high school senior. But he said, I'm leaning towards leaving and going up to Ohio just so I don't have to deal with the high school situation stuff and can get comfortable with Ohio and Columbus and start to learn. So you can't become the starting quarterback when you're just starting to learn. Okay. So I think people need to slow down right there. But the dynamic of now this guy is in the mix. And like I don't know that it necessarily impacts CJ Stroud or I would say Jack Miller, but I don't know if that's the case. Boy, Tom, there's a lot to process here in terms of what does this competition look like? What do the reps look like? Who is, what Kyle McCord, we know he's a competitive guy, and I don't want to say he would welcome this, but I think he feels like whatever. I've got the reps, I've got the experience. Like you're not going to overtake me this year, so why would you overtake me next year?
Yeah, and that's I think the thing. I mean, you have to assume that Ewers is coming in as the number 4 guy. That Ewers knows he's coming in as the number 4 guy. With a young 5-star quarterback, you always kind of wonder if in the back of a head he's not going, yes, I'm the number 4 guy this year. But I mean, give it 2 weeks, and then I don't think that's probably where it is. I mean, this is such a unique circumstance. I mean, we talked about JT Tuimoloau coming in and having missed spring ball, missed summer workouts, but at least he was working out like specifically with this in mind the entire time. He has had another year of growth and development. He has graduated high school. He's, a year older than Ewers. It's not quite the same thing. This is like out of left field kind of, I mean, obviously not on a lark. If Kirk heard about this, a month ago, obviously this was something that was in the works and they had been talking about, NIL pieces of all this kind of stuff. And, the article, it was a Pete Thamel article, and he talked about a kombucha company had given him, had an offer. There were some national companies that had him an offer. He had a potential to take an equity stake in the kombucha company. And, it's funny, the meme with the girl who's making the, disgusting face. And then oh, actually, I'm thinking about it face. And then shakes her head no. Like, that meme, that's a girl drinking kombucha. So it actually kind of works here. Yeah. I mean, I had heard at one point, I was told a month or 2 ago, like the $1 million number was floated to me. Like he, as the number 1 guy, as a quarterback going to Ohio State, $1 million a year for NIL is not out of the realm of possibility. And I'm sure that, some hot takes McGee somewhere is going to have he's abandoning his team. He's betrayed his teammates. It's like, yeah, guess what? If you were in high school and someone offered you literally $1 million to go leave high school a year early, guess what you would have done? Bye. That is not a hard decision. So, this is not something that necessarily, compromises his long-term ability to play football. If anything, it sets him up to succeed. I can't imagine any of his high school teammates are all that angry about this. Like, yeah, I mean, I'm sure they wanted him to be on their team, but yeah, I think this is a pretty understandable decision on his part. If it is in fact how this happens. But man, I mean, there is a lot. I feel like we're going to do an instant reaction show here, and then we kind of have to like process this for like 2 hours and then think about all the implications for this in terms of long term, in terms of, what does this mean for the other two, the 2 quarterbacks who don't win the starting job this year? Do they start doing the calculus of like, well, if this guy's already here, then he's, I don't have the year or 2 of experience on him that I would have otherwise. There's a lot going on here, but I don't expect 2 quarterbacks to transfer. I think it's possible 1 transfers now because that you would like to have 4 scholarship quarterbacks. Randy told us that last year. So okay, well now he potentially has 4 scholarship quarterbacks. We'll see how long he has 4 scholarship quarterbacks because that's that's got to be a concern a little bit. But yeah, man, this is I'm trying to remember the last news that Ohio State football news that was like this out of the blue and also this consequential all at once. And it was like, I mean, not even like the Jim Tressel resignation, because that was at least you kind of heard the drum beats on that. This was kind of like Kirk mentioned something once about a month or two ago, and that was it. And you didn't really have any indications. And now all of a sudden, like, ta-da, Quinn Ewers might be here at practice next Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly. We need to have this show and then think about all of the stuff we should have said rather than just being like, I don't know, man. What do you think? I don't know either. And now, what I'm also wondering, they need a quarterback in the 2022 class. You've got Drew Aller there in Medina. Do they go and try to get somebody? And would somebody be willing to do that? And boy, that would be a stab in the eye of Penn State if they
Yeah,
grabbed him.
and Drew Aller is someone who he's from he's from Medina up in Northeast Ohio. He's someone who, I think in a typical year, or mid 2010s Ohio State quarterback recruiting, Drew Aller is in this class, and Ohio State is very happy we have Drew Aller in this class. Drew Aller is now at Penn State. Drew Aller is, there is a much clearer path to the field at Penn State than there is at Ohio State. And, I mean, you can go through the pros and cons of playing for both programs if you want to, but, that there is, at this point, he's probably committed. I would be very surprised if Drew Aller flipped, but, we have gotten shocking quarterback news in the past. In fact, the extremely, extremely recent past. So I guess you never say never.
Yeah, I don't even know how long we've been talking. Maybe 15 minutes, maybe an hour and a half. I don't know. It's just I love college football because of the changeover in players. I'm not used to this though. We waited for JT Tuimoloau, and we were like, well, never gonna have to deal with that again. Somebody waiting until July to announce that they're gonna commit to a school or whatever. And here it's like, oh, just wait 1 week, and then you'll see somebody wait even longer, or be a year early, however you want to do it. But here we are, it's a week before camp, and oh, there's going to be somebody else in town. So now, now we get to do the OSU student directory. Is he in yet? Is he in yet? Is he in yet? And then you look like, what number is he wearing? What? And if these guys can make money off their jerseys now, if they can come to some agreement, boy, that Ewers jersey is going to be a hot seller in Ohio Stadium, or the general greater state of Ohio and Texas.
I'm not here to tell anyone their business, but if Quinn Ewers decided to wear a visor on the sideline, and you could sell the visor with the blonde mullet thing, like as a wig inside there, I'm gonna guess you're gonna make some money on that, and that is part of your name and image and likeness. So, again, I'm not trying to tell anyone their business, but I bet there'd be a lucrative mullet wig business if he chose to get into that line of business. It's just there's just, I mean, the NIL. This is like welcome to the brave new world of college football, and this is a decision that sounds like it is based pretty much entirely. Like, I mean, I'm sure it's great to come and learn and get another year, but I mean, that way that article is written, and that was sourced direct quotes to the Ewers and Ewers family, like NIL. This is NIL here, and we've talked a little bit about NIL and the role it may have played in landing Tuimoloau, but now you're bringing Ewers in. Since the start of June, Ohio State has potentially, again, once this is official, Ohio State will have added the number one player in the entire class of 2021 and the number one player in the entire class of 2022 in the span of July 2021. Like, what? And they will be enrolling and on campus and here next Tuesday. Like, what? This is I think the college football thing is, the tradition of the fall, and when summer starts turning to fall and the leaves turn the golden brown and the air gets a little crisp, and it's like, it must be college football season, and then the leaves fall off the trees, and then it's Christmas, and then but New Year's Day, the sun shines in Pasadena, and another year has dawned, and the players sign in December or February, and this is how the calendar works, and it's just like, now it's just like, nope, just chaos whenever, just massive, unprecedented news whenever. Sure, just absolutely. And I've said this before, I'll say it again. As someone who hosts a daily podcast, I'm for it.
Speaking of your daily podcast, when you have Phil Steele on this weekend, ask him does it bother you when players sign after the magazine? Because I'm looking at your roster. You don't have JT Tuimoloau. You don't have Quinn Ewers. Like, does that irk you just a little bit, given all of the information and all of the time that you put in this? That like the top two players in the last two classes aren't in here. Because that would bother me. And I'm sure he's like, oh, it's players work on their own time and we want to be accurate, so we go with what we have. But it kind of has to irk him a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, this is you want to work on the internet, like this is why you work on the internet. And he does have Phil Steele Plus, so
Yes.
you can sign up for Phil Steele Plus. He does update that. We'll have and yes, we will have Phil Steele on one of the morning scoops this weekend. Yeah, we're doing morning scoops this weekend because guess what? Turns out there's a bunch of news going on. So now it's a 7-day-a-week show. You're welcome. Turns out there's a lot of stuff to talk about. So that's all good. But yeah, I mean, this is just it is completely crazy. And I don't think that this is going to, I think this is probably not going to be the tradition, the typical path to this happening. This is something that has happened in the past. Like Jake Bentley, quarterback, graduated a year early, went to South Carolina. I almost said USC. It's like, well, yeah, one of them, not
JT
not
Daniels.
JT Daniels did that. It is a thing that has happened, but not on this timeline. This is the crazy NIL passing, starting July 1st, and then that starts these conversations. Now, if you're a high school kid next year, if you're the number one quarterback in the state of Texas next year, now, you can start having those conversations now and set yourself up to graduate early. So, you're enrolling early. That's this is kind of, I think, a unique thing. This is probably going to be cool. I mean, I guess I can't say a one-off because Lord knows what else is happening. And is Clemson going to have their quarter? Like, sure, whatever. Like, yeah. So now that he has done this, will someone else do this? You can't say, never say never, but we are pretty close to the start of fall camp. So it would be probably pretty difficult. But yeah, I mean, this is, I've spent all year saying, like, I don't think people understand how consequential this is. I didn't see this being an immediate consequence of it, but here it is. It's going to be fascinating to see how this all plays out. And boy, we don't know yet if we're going to be at practice next Tuesday, but if JT Tuimoloau and Quinn Ewers are both at practice on Tuesday, like we're gonna have some stuff to talk about.
And we'll wrap up here, but I like the idea that I expected some players to opt out of their senior season of high school so that they can do this NIL stuff. But this was an option I hadn't thought about. Like, if you have just a few classes, graduate early, go redshirt for a year at whatever school and capitalize and get that clock ticking. But now, like, then coaches are dealing with even younger quarterbacks in their system, and not just quarterbacks. It's going to be younger players and more babysitting, if you will, and more money and younger players. I don't know. That's that gets to be tricky. So this is one of those consequences, unintended. Maybe we didn't see, but boy, here we are already.
And I'm just like, as we're processing this in real time, is he going to be on scholarship this fall? Where are they with the scholarship count? Are they under in the scholarship count? If he's not, he can certainly gray shirt and pay his own way, because it sounds like he's going to be able to make some money. So he should be able to cover that, even out of state tuition. He should be able to cover the out of state tuition at Ohio State. So,
and if he gray shirts, then he remains a 2022 kid.
Yeah, that's a possibility. I mean, it is. This is, again, like, I feel like we'll probably end up doing another show tomorrow at some point, and we've got this show. We have the things that are coming in, for the offense show. We'll have another Quinn Ewers show. We got some stuff to talk about. So yeah, this is at least your first little acknowledgement that yes, we are aware. We are not trapped under anything heavy. We are aware that this is happening, and starting to figure out what this could mean. But yeah, there's going to be. I feel like we probably need to check with some folks and get some more input on this. And here's what this is going to mean, on the field, off the field, and for the future.
Right. This was the instant babble, and then once we get everything situated, then we can actually talk about it. But we wanted to hurry up and get this taken care of for you. Do you have anything else? I feel like we should end it there. And
yeah, we're good. We'll I'm sure have quite a bit more on this later on in the week,
later on in the minutes, later on in the hour. This will not be the last we talk about it. So Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. Check out BuckeyeScoop.com. We will talk to you later.